Akam no no lao.
Well, yeah, I'm just initiating a group call so we can try to get some content and media. But updates: Madagascar had their uprising with the youth, and they just installed a president general or a military president. So Madagascar is a kingdom, or used to be. So they're very traditional in some aspects, and their leadership has to include the traditional leaders. So it's similar to what's going on in Sahel, Biafra, Igbo land. So everything is coming together. I think northern Nigeria has not been promoted, but Niger Republic is, I think, trying to absorb northern Nigeria, and they've been discussing the terrorism that goes on in Nigeria. But you know, Pan Africanism spaces is mostly uh, Yoruba led, Yoruba and Ifa, especially in the USA. So the word is it seems it's like it's not getting out because of tribal sentiments. But Northern Nigeria and Niger Republic, they've been trying to connect. There's been signs that they're connecting. So we just have to get. Uh, I think I would like a group call here, but my next calls would be to Washington D.C., um, where you guys would connect to Washington D.C. and just take it from there, like Africa to Washington D.C., then other cities in the USA. Um, I think the Caribbean is pretty connected. The government of Grenada was in Tarapa State, Carafa, I think 2 or 3 days ago. So some of the Caribbean people are coming home because of what's going on in the West and the Sahel. They're trying to unite, but also we have to be careful because I think there was a coup. There was attempted coup plotters, military. I think people are seeing what's going on in the Sahel and Biafra, and they're trying to hold Nigeria together for their own selfish interests. So that could be dangerous if the military takes over and they just start killing anyone who wants to be, you know, restructure Africa. So that's what the call was about. That's the basics of the call. We just have to connect our leadership here in Africa to the West right now. So that's the strategy. Make a group call here and then connect people to people over here in the USA in different cities and have a plan for the economics. So that's the basics of it. I don't have anything else to say. Uh,
All right. Thank you, Chizoro Confidence. Good morning to you and good morning to everybody from here, from Biafra land, Comrade Chukuka Louis. Um, the question we should ask ourselves is very simple. Why all this conflict? Why all this conflict? The resources that God gave to mankind, instead of being a blessing to mankind, has turned out to be a curse to mankind out of greed, oppression, and suppression, executions. Now the question is this, another question is this, what is the solution? There are so many hypocrites among policymakers or those who enact global policies. You say one thing, you do another thing. Instead of placing high value for human lives, women and children, and properties, the reverse becomes the case because of minerals or natural resources to be stolen. We have greedy politicians in Africa. We've seen the revolution going on from the Sahel region, bad governance everywhere, the masses are not enjoying dividends of democracy. The United Nations policies to grant independence or freedom to states that are seeking for recognition. One among them is the Biafran, that have fulfilled all the conventions of Montevideo in 1933, according to the Indian train activist, the Imo State-born freedom fighter Ralph Wazirike, and other freedom fighters across the world, including you, my comrade, confidence that has been reaching out.
Ngozi. We can't forget to mention Ngozi. She's doing mobilization in USA, Caribbean, and now
Yeah,
Hausaland.
yeah,
The House of Youth are rising up with her. So everything, the world is shaking.
yeah. So all these things are just to displace the ethnic nationalities. The ethnic nationalities are threatened. Their culture, their identity, their tradition, their language, everything about them is under threat.
The land and
So for
minerals.
how long will all this? Yeah. So for how long will all this continue? So the solution here is unity of purpose. Unity of purpose should be the focal point. And why do I say unity of purpose? There are three kinds of unity, as far as I know, I have studied, and I have come to agree with. I am not talking of, sorry, number one is there is a unity of Jonah and the whale, the biblical Jonah and the whale.
Mm.
Yeah, these are the kind of unity you found among globalists, the kind of unity you find among international policy makers. So the whale swallowed Jonah. Jonah was uncomfortable in the belly of the whale,
Mm-hmm.
and the whale too was also uncomfortable until it vomits Jonah. So who is the whale in this contemporary world? Those oppressors who destroy institutions, those oppressors who want to coerce people, the ethnic group, people who own the resources. You preach justice, you preach peace, you preach unity, but all these are mere lip service. You know, how
Mm-hmm.
can you preach justice without truth? How can you preach justice without fairness? How can you preach justice when you are eliminating people? So the unity of Jonah and the whale cannot be called a true unity. Number two, we have the unity of the horse and the horse rider. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The unity of the horse and the horse rider. The horse rider climbs the horse with a whip, held the horse through the rope from the neck. You kick the horse, you whip the horse, and ask the horse
Mm-hmm.
to move to your direction. This it's just a cosmetic unity. The horse does not, move out of his own will, but because the person sitting on the horse, which is the horse rider, is forcing the horse to be united, and you are dealing with that horse ruthlessly. This cannot be unity. And this is not the kind of unity I stand for, or we stand for, according to our principle. But the unity we stand for, number three, is the unity of the holy matrimony, the unity that unites a man and a woman, the unity of the husband and wife, where consent is paramount, where consents are agreed. This is the kind of unity that breeds life, that begets humanity. So this concept of unity of purpose should be anchored on the unity of the holy matrimony. So what I'm trying to say here in effect is this. All of us that are in this platform should have one thing in mind. When we are talking about unity, let's not consider the unity of the whale and Jonah. No. Let us not consider the unity of the horse and the horse rider. No. We should consider the unity of the holy matrimony. And if we can factor this in our policies, I think there should be global peace in various, communities, ethnic groups, Bogu, as the case may be. And this is where the problem is. So that is what I have to say and to contribute from here. Thank you very much, Confidence Chisel, for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Thank
Thank you. I remain Louis' response. Yeah.
thank you. I just want to run down the regional, the 1 through 10. I know Southern India is a regional headquarters. We don't have any news from there. The second region, Australia, Melanesian Islands. Um, we have the West Papua New Guinea issue, the genocide there. They're very active in the Pacific Islands, Vanuatu, West Papua, and now the Kingdom of Madagascar off the coast of Southern Africa. In the Southern African Development Community, they haven't been getting electricity or water, even though South Africa is known for, white Europeans having major economics. That their neighbors are not even getting electricity or water or internet. So they just had a revolution in Southern Africa that stretches all the way to the Pacific Islands and West Papua New Guinea, where they're having genocide. So that Kingdom of Madagascar is a headquarters number 2. Then we go to 3. That's in Uganda, Rwanda, Congo area. We're not having any news from there. But we have a brother, Dr. Matsanga. He's working with Dr. Ngozi. The Eastern African region headquarters, they're talking in Nigeria space and media now in Hausaland. So things are going in region 3. Number 4 and 5 is basically the Sahel with headquarters in Niger State and Borno State, Borgu and Borno Empire. And they're connected to Sahel regions. So the Nigerian state has been accused of terrorism, and there's connections to Hausaland. They're trying to absorb northern Nigeria. So when we're coming together, restructuring Africa, that's the kind of discussion. If northern Nigerian states work with the Sahel Alliance on security and culture and become one country, that seems to be the direction things are going in northern Nigeria as far as freedom fighting. So that's now that's regions 1 through 5. Now, regions 6 through 7, that's southern Igbo land and northern Igbo land. We don't have much to report there. Um, region 8 is southeast USA and Caribbean. Uh, Grenada is in Nigeria right now. They're in Ghana. They're traveling. Grenada. They're tied to Cuba, Venezuela. So they were in Nigeria, the Eastern Caribbean states. Then Jamaica and Haiti, we don't have. That's the large population. We don't have any updates or consistent communication. But we're trying to get consistent communication with Haiti. But Haiti and Jamaica, they're tied to Nigeria, but they're not very active in what's going on worldwide. So unfortunately, but hopefully we get Jamaica and Haiti more active um, under this forum. But Region 9 is Washington, D.C., the headquarters. Maryland and Virginia had a lot of Igbo slavery, Biafra slavery, and that's where Washington, D.C. is. So reasonably, they come from Biafra to the black people of Washington, D.C. So maybe in due time we'll have, the city of Washington, D.C., the USA capital, a lot of people working with Biafra in Africa to direct global policy. Because there are descendants directly. Imagine that the people who built the White House in Washington, D.C. are Biafrans. So that's Region 9. And the last one will be Mississippi, Delta area, St. Louis, Memphis, Jackson, Mississippi. They're standing by. They're waiting for other regions. But that's the updates 1 through 10. So everybody's, you see what's going on in the news. People are rising. So it was just a little update. could close the forum. I know it's early over there, but thank you for picking up.
Yeah, thank you for the highlights. It
Yeah,
it it boils down to just the summary of what I just pointed out, and bad governance, exploiting the people, expropriating their resources. People are dying in the midst of abundance of resources.
this is
Ethnic nationalities are being,
now this is an interesting thing.
you know,
The interesting thing is the population size of Biafra and the
yeah,
Sahel states. If we're at 70 million, 80 million population, that's large enough to administrate most of the other African countries at the table, have our own United Nations and African Union and our own human rights body. That's what we're building. Because Biafra is 80 million people, that's top five in Africa. Sahel Alliance, 80 million. If they get northern Nigeria, that's maybe 150 to 200 million people. So uh, Sahel Alliance in a couple of years could be largest country in Africa. They get northern Nigeria. I know Chad is trying to join, and from Chad you probably could get Sudan. I volunteered to work with Sudan, so we're going to be hearing more from Sudan, probably through Washington D.C. But the Senegambia, 22 million people. That's a smaller region. Um, we have ties to Benin through Borgu Empire, so maybe we could get Benin influence. The Mano River Union is about 50 million people, I think. There might be involved. So all these regions can be contacted. East African Federation is 300 million people. That would be the largest country, maybe, but they're not. Uh, it's not that region is not really active as much in what's going on in
all
Africa. But
right,
we'll try and get there. But yeah, I don't have much to say. That was a rundown of what's going on. All right.
okay,
Thank you for picking up.
no problem. Thank you.
We'll try more calls consistently, and then move to USA calls and merge the calls. Peace, Udo.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you.